What's going on, world? It's your man Chuck Creekmur, aka Jigsaw. All hip hop is in these virtual streets with Jermaine Dupri. What's good, my brother?
What's happening? How you?
I'm good, bro. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Same here.
You in this new documentary, The
Yeah.
Wildest Story Never Told, Freaknik. So I gotta ask you. You were in the A at that time. You weren't there all the way at the beginning of it all. But what's your perspective on Freaknik as a legacy?
Well, I mean, I was in Atlanta. I just wasn't of age. Like
Yeah.
16. If you 16, that's when you become a virgin to Freaknik
Right,
in the
right,
90s. So in like 91 is when I kind of got hip to Freaknik.
Okay.
And Freaknik for Atlanta, and the culture of hip hop becoming so dominant in this city and the city paying attention to hip hop and the Falcons and
Mm-hmm.
all everything. Freaknik created all of those avenues.
Right.
Um, what people were doing with Freaknik made all of the Fortune 500 companies pay attention to it. Like, damn, Freaknik is okay. You know what I mean? And if you took advantage of Freaknik the way I did with So Def, you also realized that it was companies in this city, music companies that was putting out music, and that's
Right.
basically. So I give Freaknik damn near 60% of the credit for
Mm.
catapulting the Atlanta South music scene.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, P. Frank Williams, the director,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he referred to it as a musical documentary. I never took it that way.
Yeah, nah, that's what it is. It's definitely a musical documentary that it's also a hip hop documentary. That's another thing
Mhm.
that people I noticed that people don't understand that. It's a hip hop documentary that we haven't had, right?
Mm.
It's a southern hip hop documentary, but we haven't had a hip hop documentary um in the last 10 years as far as I'm concerned that
Hmm.
that brings the age group between parents and their kids
Mm.
as close as the age groups are now, right?
Right. Yeah.
And Freaknik actually deals with these younger parents and these, and having these kids. And this
Yeah.
was that generation where parents start having kids closer to their actual, this younger age, so that
Mm.
they can, my mother had me when I was 16. So I mean, when she was 16. So that 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 era of kids being born when their parents are 16 and this, that, and the third, we never really had a documentary or anything, a hip-hop story or anything in the culture that actually that deals with that. This is
Yeah.
the first.
Definitely. Who do you think goes harder? The Gen X, the Freaknik generation, so to speak, or the current day?
Freaknik generation. I mean, the inspiration and motivation behind five individuals at a school that didn't have money to go to spring break or go home for spring break and see their family, and they decide to create a picnic. And they didn't just want to make it a regular picnic, they decided to make it a different type of picnic and put a different name at the front of it and make
Hmm.
it something special for the rest of the kids on the campus that didn't have money to go home. That in itself is a story that when I'm trying to get things done and I'm trying to do it for all the money in the world, these type of stories um hit me dead in the face. Like, Jermaine, you got to figure out another way to get this done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not it's you we live in a world where everybody always want to call and get as much money as possible, but if you really want something to happen and you don't have no other choice, you'll
Yeah.
figure it out. And you don't see a lot of that in this generation, but
Mm.
that generation did that, and that's to me, that's motivation for me.
Yeah, no doubt. You talked about hip hop. Uh, do you see parallels? Because parallels to hip hop, because the way it started and the way it ended was completely different.
Um, when you say parallels, as far as what?
The trajectory. I mean, obviously, if you start something off with a few people, they're in on it, and then it's just slowly gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then before you know it, it's it's this, somebody I think described it as a monster even at one point.
Yeah, I did. I think yeah. So once what happens is that at least with Freaknik, nobody was having a conversation. I think that was the thing. Like the city should have at least talked to the DC Metro Club to figure out what it was that they actually was doing, right? And then the city should have blocked off that corner of Piedmont Park where they started having a party, because now in Atlanta, this is where Music Midtown is held at, in that same spot that she talks about having that picnic. That's where Music Midtown is held, and it's a situation where all these people come to. It's a festival, and it's done right there, right? They could have done the exact same thing. They could have been the first group of people to have a festival, right? Yeah. But they weren't having a conversation with the city, and the city didn't go and make a move to have a conversation with them, and things just kept going and kept growing. And if you don't have some kind of communication, things gonna get out of control.
Yeah. Was it all business for you though? Like, did you have fun, and did you like indulge at a point in Freaknik?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, it wasn't like it was business for me from a I mean, not from a monetary standpoint. It was a business move for me from a fun standpoint. It was like,
yeah,
when you getting your name out there and you trying to build your brand, you're more so concerned about putting your brand in front of as many people as possible, as opposed to you making money, right. And that might be the wrong way to go about it. Somebody else might have a different way, but that's the way I went about it. I just was like, and me being from the South and already getting flack for the Crisscross record and people trying to treat us like we weren't supposed to be in hip hop in the first place. Yeah. My determination was just like, I'm here. Y'all got to see me. And I ain't got to come to y'all city. It's 150,000 people in my city. Yeah. They going to see me when they come here at least. You know what I'm saying? So when you have that energy, that's all I was doing. It wasn't even about, and I was having fun doing that, like making sure that my city, my company was plastered all over the city while the people was here. That was fun.
Yeah. What about the, we talk about the, the DC Metro Club and Eric Sermon is in there, and there's, the impression is obviously this is a love letter to Atlanta, but also there were other forces that were convening in Atlanta at that point in time. Even myself, I considered moving to Atlanta in the 90s. I was like, yo, I felt like it was either New York or Atlanta,
Yeah.
Ultimately, yeah, I moved to New York, but it could have gone either way.
Yeah. I mean, well, like I said, this was the rise of Atlanta's musical explosion. It was the rise, like, while what I was doing, I don't think the rest of the country was paying no attention to it. Like Eric Sermon is on Peachtree, Jermaine Dupri is in College Park, Dallas Austin's in College Park, Rico Wade and the Dungeon Family, they in the SWATs. They creating something. And Too Short moved to Atlanta and moved to the SWATs. And I don't think people, and by the way, all this stuff is happening and Freaknik is happening. Yeah. So it's like you got the energy of Freaknik, and then you got this synergy that we putting out, and we trying to put out records, and we trying to make, and so all the records and everybody just start connecting it to Freaknik, and then the DJs start playing the music, right? That was another thing. Then we got a radio station in this city. Once we got another radio station, Hot 107.9, which was 90s. What was it at first? It was something else at first. It was Hot something at first, right? And once they came and they started playing hip hop, and they was playing, and they and the way that they got in was they was playing more music from here, more people from Atlanta. Like I remember when that station first jumped off, I used to have people saying, "Jermaine, do you own this radio station?" Because they used to play so many of my records because they wanted to brand it as the Atlanta radio station.
Nice. You and Luke are in there together talking quite a bit. Luke definitely brought a different energy. Obviously, he's from Miami. Not to shade Luke or anything like that, but is that ultimately when things started to really shift into, some of the other things that were not as communal, if you will?
Nah, because Luke was here before, he was at the parties before I was.
Okay.
Luke was at the parties that I couldn't get into. So
Right.
Luke actually helped Freaknik get bigger. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because once you came to Atlanta and you was like, yo, we went to this Luke party, and you went back home and you told your homeboys that didn't go, they couldn't wait to go next year.
Right.
Right. So he actually increased the crowd flow. So I mean, it could be a bad thing, but I look at what Luke did. He increased it and made it really like, and he put the freak in the word freak.
Right.
The word freak was not there for that at first. The word freak didn't have nothing to do with shake off and shaking your booty and Luke Skywalker. None of that. It didn't have nothing to do with that. They was using the word freak from the Chic record.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And I notably recall, when all the exits were blocked off, and you're just in the highway, and that didn't even stop nothing really, because
because what that did was it pushed you to the outskirts of Atlanta, and where I'm from, College Park, when they blocked off the highway, you couldn't. I don't think none of the exits was open all the way to Old National. So people was getting off on Old National and they was going to Frozen Paradise that was down the street on Old National, and then Old National became Freaknik.
Right.
And then that's where I was at, like, oh, I ain't got to go downtown. It's right here in my hood. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it was like I said, Freaknik was amazing because you couldn't really kill it.
Yeah.
You couldn't kill it once it was in the city.
Right. Off topic slightly, you have been, actually doing like amazing things. Like I'm shocked, not shocked. Obviously, you're a talented brother, but can you give everybody a rundown of what you're working on now?
Rundown that I'm working. I mean, I'm in Freaknik.
Freaknik,
I'm in Freaknik mode right now, since this just came out. But I mean,
I kind of meant musically.
I got a number one record and the number one R&B record in the country right now with Money Long.
Shout out to Shaka.
Yeah, and constantly staying in the studio. That's just what I, stay in the studio, keep making music. I got a new single too. I got a new single with myself, Ashanti, Nelly, and Juicy J. I'm forgetting that I got records.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Didn't you do a song with Rev Run?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Not recently.
Not recently. Okay, never mind. Rev Run got a new record out too.
Oh yeah, so. Yeah, not recently.
Okay. Oh, by the way, my niece worked on Freaknik documentary as a researcher at Hulu. She works at Hulu.
Oh, that's what's up.
That's crazy. She sent a text to our group today, and I was like, "Yo, you got to tell me what you're working on." I'm literally about to talk to JD right now.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, man. So, wanted to ask you this. I gotta ask you this. People are always, giving me feedback on who I'm going to interview, and you've gone viral for your various fits and socks. What's your response now? What's your I have a theory on this, but I want to know what your mind state is when you go into your closet or whatever, and then you say that I'm gonna wear this.
I mean, personally, I never even thought nobody would say anything about the socks. You know what I mean? Like I've worn these socks before, and I actually believe that it's because, like I said, a lack of information is being given to these kids. Because if people knew more about me, they would know I'm a dancer, and I come from an era where dancers used to wear all kind of different stuff, right? I not where it might not have been cool for a rapper to wear, but it might have been cool for the dancer to wear. It might have been cool. I mean, like I said, I'm a hip hop kid. I grew up in hip hop, and fashion was a big part of my life. You know what I mean? I'm also the same person that had the whole world wearing their clothes backwards, right? Yeah. So you when people talk about my socks, I'm like, you do realize, like, everybody told me that wearing your clothes backwards wasn't gonna work. Like, Nobody was like in agreement with that. Like, Jermaine,
Right.
you crazy. What y'all doing that for? Like, you know what I mean? And the fact that Chris was younger, I think that kind of smoothed it out a little bit, but people weren't with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's crazy for me to go fast forward 20 years or something. People's like, man, Crisscross was my first tape that I bought, and I got kicked out of school because I was wearing my clothes backwards. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't think about clothes like that. I just put on stuff. You know what I mean? This was something that I wanted to wear. I didn't have no idea that the world was gonna say it. And when I came off the stage at Super Bowl, my daughter was like, "They on your socks. They on your head about the socks." And I'm like, "What? Why would they be talking to me about the socks?" So yeah, I wasn't even paying no attention to it.
Okay, that's what's up. I thought you might be trolling. I don't know. I was like, is he trying to go viral? Is he?
Nah, definitely not. And then like the other day when I wore the socks again to South by Southwest. And and the only reason I did that is because now, like you just did. So anybody that's watching this, I want everybody just watching this to understand what I'm saying. Because when I say this, people like, anybody ask you about them socks. He's right here. He just asked me about the socks. I don't have no socks on today. And as a person that's in the entertainment business, let's talk about algorithms. People talk about algorithms and what an algorithm is and what a light does for a entertainer, right? If you do something in entertainment and the next time people see you, they ask you about that thing that you did, you better pay attention to it. Now, whether it's good or bad, you better pay attention to it. And that's almost the secret to my success. Like, I just pay attention to the obvious. I don't claim to be a genius and all this. I just pay attention to the obvious. You guys like, oh, okay, people want R&B music. All right, cool. Y'all want R&B music? I listened to TikTok. TikTok was playing Yeet over my Mariah Carey beat, and I'm like, oh, this is what y'all like? Okay, cool. I'm gonna put a beat like this on this Money Long record, and let's see what happens. Right? It's just paying attention to the signs, right? It's a red flag. So with the socks, that's what it is. It was a red flag. Everybody like, oh, I went to Sherry Shepherd, and she said I was trending more than Usher. I'm trending more than the person who actually performed on the Super Bowl. You got to pay attention to that.
Yeah, no, that's a fact, man. Well, congratulations on the documentary. It was really educational, man. I was shocked, going viral about this, that. Am I going to be in it? Is my grandma, my mom going to be in it? All that. But it was actually an education and very enjoyable to watch. And like you said, I think it's really going to bring people together. Then brought my family together. My brother going to watch it tonight. His daughter worked on it. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, so much respect, brother. Yeah. Any last words?
Nah, that's it. You know what I'm gonna keep doing. Just keep looking.
Yeah, we definitely will. All right,
for
respect.
Sure. All right.